guys. I hope you guys can see and hear us okay. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, as you might know. And one of the things that I've always really believed is that there are three pillars of wealth. As you know, there's stock and bond investing, there's real estate investing, and there's entrepreneurship. Well, the person that I'm bringing in today happens to be a real estate agent out of New York City, and an author and an entrepreneur and just an all-around awesome black woman. Her name is Laquana McNeil, and Laquana is the author of the book called The Real Estate Blueprint, and it's a beginner's guide to starting a successful career in real estate. She's also the founder of the Real Estate Charm School. And without further ado, I want to welcome Laquana to the Black Financial Channel. How you doing today, sister?
I'm good. How are you, Boyce? Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. So glad you're here. So let's start from the beginning. Some of you are listening here on Instagram, and some of you are just coming in on YouTube and Facebook. I want you guys need to hear this conversation because we're talking serious. We're talking about grown folks topics and money and everything else. And Laquana is, I knew Laquana from way back in the day. You were my student at Syracuse University back when I was teaching there, and you graduated, what, in 07?
2009.
Oh, 09, yeah. And I think, I'm trying to remember, were you in my class in 08 then or 07? Do you remember?
08, I believe, right before my last year.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, you guys, she stood out because this sister was super sharp. And I remember that you came up to me before the class started and you had said something about, I don't know if you sought out the class or if you had heard about the class. You heard this crazy black man was teaching finance at Syracuse. Do you remember that conversation? Like the first time we talked? I'm trying to remember it.
When I was going to Syracuse at that time, you could actually go to like Rate My Professor. So you had a bunch of reviews about this was not your average finance class. So I made sure to go up to you, introduce myself, let you know who I was. And I was really looking forward to it. So I'm happy we got to connect. And now it's full circle. Now I'm on your TV show. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what too is interesting is, I remember you in that class and I was really impressed. I want you guys to know, like, I was super impressed with her intelligence. So impressed that actually you were one of the first people that ever worked with me when I first started my business venture, when I started doing, my own entrepreneurial path. And I invited you to work together because you were so sharp. I mean, you were a straight A student in college, right?
Yes, I really appreciate that. I remember starting Your Black World .net with you and learning HTML and WordPress. I'm like, what is this? And figuring these articles together and working with you, going to New York, interviewing. And I mean, it was such an inspiration. And that's exactly kind of what I want to do now myself. So I remember.
Now you live in New York now, if I'm not mistaken. Now you're originally from, if I'm not mistaken, is it the Bedford-Stuyvesant area? And I hope I said it right. And you and I remember your story. I think if I'm not mistaken, did I meet your mom one time? I think I might have met your mom. And I was really excited to meet her because I'm always curious about the parents that produce extraordinary young people, and you were kind of the cream of the crop. So anyway, I'm giving everybody the background because I want you guys to know this is not an average person that you're hearing from. This is somebody that I really respect, somebody that's really accomplished a lot and has done a lot. Now, since that time, since you left Syracuse, you went into consulting for a while, and then you jumped from consulting to real estate. Can you kind of talk about your career journey, after you left Syracuse?
So after I left Syracuse, my major was accounting and finance. So I decided to work for Ernst & Young. And I did that for about 4 years full-time while still having my real estate license and working part-time. So I've never given that up. But I knew working at Ernst & Young, it was a great foundation. I met a ton of people, but there was something missing, right? I would come in, I would work on spreadsheets. I couldn't really talk to the CEO or certain people on the team. I could only keep it lateral. It wasn't always an open door policy. And I didn't feel like I was giving back to anyone. Yes, I was checking work papers and making sure that things were in order, but I didn't feel like I was adding value. Now with real estate, it was part-time at the time, But every time I closed a deal, helped someone buy a house, I saw the difference in someone's life that I made. So I said, okay, it's 2013. It's around August. What I did first was I took a leave of absence. I didn't just jump. I said, let me take a leave and see if I can do this full time first. And I was granted the leave. In about 2 months, I made almost my yearly salary. Yes, I was hustling. I was doing rentals. I was doing sales. I was telling the whole world, I do real estate. What do you need? I got you. Um, so I came back from that leave of absence, and then I put in my 2 weeks. My partner at the time was livid. How could you do this? You did that wrong. You should have waited. But I did it. So then from there, I started with a small brokerage at the time, and then I got with the company I'm with now, which is Compass. I've been with them for a while. So long term, of course, I want to start my own brokerage, but right now I'm with Compass and doing my thing.
Wow. So you said now who was livid? You said your partner was livid?
When I was working at the corporate firm. Yeah.
Really? Okay, so your corporate partner was livid, or you mean your life partner?
My corporate partner.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, wow. I was like, ooh, that's pretty personal. So he was livid. How did that go? How did that conversation go?
No, the partner of the firm who granted me the leave of absence, when I came back, he expected me to be back for a longer time period, but I decided to leave right away.
Well, you know, what's funny is that given that I know you, one of the things that did stand out even back when you were a student at Syracuse is that you were a hustler, and that you were really smart, and I just kind of believe a smart hustler can't be stopped. And also, I think that being from New York, and also being from New York and not having a silver spoon in your mouth, it gives you like a little edge. It gives you like a hustle ability that a lot of people don't have. Like I think, and tell me what you think about that. I mean, I'm a non-New Yorker who spent a lot of time in New York, and one of the things I noticed when I was there in New York was that it seemed like there were so many smart people, so many resourceful, ambitious people, so and people that just kind of seem to sort of feel like, look, nobody's going to give it to you, nobody's going to make it easy for you, and somebody's probably going to try to take it away from you, right? And they're able to just kind of handle that. Like I think about you. I think about Dorian Chandler, who's a friend of mine in the Bronx, who is an award-winning filmmaker, and a bunch of other people, all the way up to the celebrity types like Wendy Williams and people like that. And there's just something about a New Yorker that I've always thought was extraordinary. Can you kind of speak to that? Like, do you think that there's sort of an edge there that we were referring to?
Absolutely. And I was born in Bed-Stuy. So it's very, very different. You are not going to no one's going to give you anything. I had to learn that. I was brought up for the most part in a single family household, right? My mom raised us. She figured out exactly how she was going to make her 5 kids successful. I was first generation college student. I just wanted more. I would look around. I would see the people hanging out every day. To this day, sometimes I would drive by the place I grew up and see the same people hanging out there. I knew I did not want that for my life. Some people say, what was it? Who was it in your life? What made you want to be different? I think it was just my environment. You want to get out. People push you around. They are going to try you. You're built for it tough when you're living in New York. Everybody's moving fast, speaking fast. If there's an opportunity, you better be ready to grab it. So I was always around that environment growing up, and that just followed me through life and through my career.
Well, by the way, everybody, I'm talking to Laquana McNeil, and we're talking about a variety of topics, mostly centered on real estate. But also, as you know, I like for topics to be human, and Laquana is a human being, and she's a Black woman who's done a lot, and she is the author of a great book called The Real Estate Blueprint, that you may want to check out. And also, she is the founder of the Real Estate Charm School, and you can follow her on Instagram at Miss McNeil, McNeil, Miss McNeil. And she's is it recharmschool.com? Is that the website where the book and everything is? Okay, recharmschool.com. So let's dig a little deeper then. Okay, so you leave college. I'm curious about this. What did you think? I know you got that great job with the big fancy consulting firm coming out of college. How did that kind of happen? Did they come and recruit you when you were at Syracuse, or you went out and found the job, or how did that go for you?
Syracuse University sent out an email. We have an accounting firm that's still looking for candidates. And for me, my mom bust her behind and put me through college. So it was go to school, you better get the job, and retire. What we all kind of grew up on. So I knew I had to get a corporate job or find a career somehow, whether it was corporate or non-corporate. So they sent out an email, I interviewed, and that's how I got the job. So it was through Syracuse University.
Okay, so you got the job with the consulting firm, and now a lot of people would feel like that's kind of like you're set, like you're there. This is the pinnacle. Now you just climb the ladder and kind of keep going. What was it that pulled you kind of outside of that? Like, what was it that made you say, this isn't enough for me? I think I want something different, something better.
You know what? I'm a little weird, okay? Because when I left, I was making around $75,000, right? I was 26 years old, and the average person would say, this is good. By the time I'm 36, I'll be doubling this. I'll have retirement income. But I am big on fulfillment. I did not feel it. I would wake up in the morning and stare at the ceiling and say, why me? No, this is not it. This can't be life. This is it. This is it. This is all I work for. Like, I just knew I wanted more for myself. Nothing against anyone who's in that position, because people love it and they love to work in accounting and consult and do all that. But for me, it just wasn't for me. And I knew I had to be real with myself.
Interesting. Well, I think that's interesting, because it makes me think about how I felt actually when I was at Syracuse. When I was working with you, I felt the same way, in that I was supposed to be successful, right? I had this PhD, which was really hard to get. Took a lot of years to get there, and I was like one of the only ones. Like there were no other there were no African American people on the planet that got a PhD in finance the same year I got it. So I literally was the only one. And so I'm sitting here, right? Yeah, right. I'm sitting here like, okay, I did it, yes. And I'm like, okay, is that it? Like you feel like you're like, okay, I climbed Mount Everest, and now you're up here and you're looking at the view. You're like, what am I supposed to do? Just sit up here and wait to die? Like, is that it? And I realized quickly that there was a whole lot more out there. I felt like Neo in the Matrix. You see the Matrix, where they're like, there's more, and you want to know that there's more out there, and so and also, of course, just kind of realizing that racism is still at the top, no matter where you go. If you're in certain institutions, there's always sort of this the black tax. There's always a penalty for being black or too black, and I'm kind of black. I'm pretty black, and I'm pretty out there. And like you said you're a little weird. I think I'm pretty weird, and who knows? Maybe that's why we became friends. And and I remember just thinking, gosh, okay, there's got to be something else to do. I would call my grandma when I was like in my early 30s, and I would call my grandma on Tuesday afternoons and stuff. And I would be like, well, grandma, you're the only person I know who's retired like me, because I only had to go to work 2 days a week. And I was like, I'm bored, And so entrepreneurship was kind of like this calling to get away from something bad, but also to move closer to something good. And the good things were fulfillment, maybe the chance to possibly expand in terms of opportunities and income, but then really also to get closer to my people. I felt like I was so extracted from Black people. Most of my students were not Black. When you were in my class, I think there's maybe 2 Black students in the class, maybe 3, and I was like, if it wasn't working for me, it wasn't working for them. Like I don't think the white students always got me, and I didn't get some of them, and so I think that there is that calling. I think some people have that calling. And I think it's important to hear from people like yourself, because you're the one that tells them it's okay to feel that, it's okay to act on that, it's okay to respond to that. So let me ask you this. So when you made the jump, when you started doing the real estate stuff and really started moving in that direction, did you feel any sort of anxiety about the transition, like sort of moving away? Like, did you have anybody that was sort of telling you, girl, what are you doing? This is crazy. This is a good job. You're making good money. This is too risky. What was that process like for you?
It was so hard. And my mom was the number one person who said, what are you doing? Why would you leave this good job with guaranteed income for a commission-based job? And there came a time after I went full time, because it was around the winter season, and winters with real estate, it can be a little slower. There's always business being done, but it can be a little slower and rocky. So 6 months in, I did have to go back home. That was a little bit of a setback, a minor setback for a major comeback, right? So I did have to go back home to someone who told me not to leave my job to begin with. So that was tough. And I felt like, man, I really wanted her support. But I understand where she was coming from now that I'm older and and have got off that couch of hers and made my own life. But at the time, I just wanted her support. I just wanted her to be there for me. But I want to take it a little step back to what you were saying about your Blackness and being okay with that. When I went to that bigger corporation I was working for, after the small real estate firm, I dealt with a lot of, wow, my name is Laquana. I'm in an area where the average price point is $800,000. Who's gonna take me serious? What are they gonna think about me? You already know who I am or how I look before I pick up the phone. So I had to prove myself. I had to be knowledgeable. I had to wake up early every day, figure out what was going on in the market. So what I would say to people that might be dealing with that too and want to work in certain markets as a real estate agent and maybe dealing with their own mental thoughts that are not true. If you're knowledgeable, if you know what you're doing, your tribe will follow you and people will work with you. You'll find the people that you even want to work with, because if someone's basing not work with you because of the color of your skin, then you probably don't want to work with them anyway. So that a little bit, and I want to touch on that.
No, I think that's a great point. You know what? I didn't even realize that, I know your name's Laquana, but I did not think about the fact that your name was Laquana until you said that. And I was like, oh, that's right, Laquana. Like my sister's name is Latanja, right? And you're right. I mean, there's there's all these studies that basically show the bias that happens in corporate America when people just see your name. I had a friend named Yolanda who did, she was looking for a job. She was on monster.com and nobody was calling her back on Monster. And so she said, I wonder what would happen if I turned into a white woman. So what she did was she took out her picture and put like a blonde, blue-eyed, blonde hair, blue-eyed white girl in the picture. And her name was Bianca White. And she changed her voicemail to sound really, really white. And within a week, she said Bianca was getting all kinds of calls and Yolanda was getting no calls at all. Same credentials, same resume, same everything. But everybody loved Bianca. Nobody wanted Yolanda. In fact, she said to this day, Bianca's still getting phone calls. And so we know that bias is real. But I like the fact that, you're also pointing to the fact that even though the bias is real, opportunity is real too. That there are real opportunities out here, and there are chances to sort of use Black excellence as an outstanding repellent to some of the racism that we might face in the job market. So anyway, I might have froze for a second. I don't know if I froze on you or not. You froze on. Oh, good. Okay, good. So let's talk about real estate a little bit. Okay, so Laquana McNeil, by the way, everybody, I'm talking to Laquana McNeil. She's the author of The Real Estate Blueprint and also the founder of the Real Estate Charm School, recharmschool.com. And you can follow her on Instagram at Miss McNeil. If you can't see her, she's actually right now on theblackfinancialchannel.com, theblackfinancialchannel.com. So if you go subscribe, make sure you subscribe at theblackfinancialchannel.com. This is where we talk about business, money, finance all the time from a Black perspective. I'm a finance professor, so I know what I'm doing. So this would be a great place for you to go if you want to sort of be in the know on what's happening, especially now because the stock market's really doing some interesting stuff. Everybody who's on YouTube, please take a second right now. Please hit that thumbs up button. And everybody that cares about this mission of Black economic empowerment, please share this video. We need your help. We would love your support. So anyway, okay. So Miss McNeil, let me ask you this. Okay, so you jump into real estate. You're in a market that I would imagine is pretty competitive, right? It seems like the financial rewards are big, but the competition's big as well. What's been that experience for you in terms of adjusting to working in real estate in a place like New York?
So the competition is real. I will say that. And in real estate, they say it's a man's world. So you definitely got to stand out. So I found a way to be strategic by focusing on a market that I was familiar with, which is Long Island City, and is where I live right now. I started out in rentals, but I would target condominium rentals because I knew there would come a time where that owner will want to eventually sell and not always rent out to a tenant. Right. So I said, okay, I'm going to build my base up first, condominium rentals. And then from rentals, those same owners would come back to me 2, 3 years later. Okay, it's time for us to sell. We want to upgrade. We want to downsize. Can you help us? Then I started networking with management companies in the area who had apartments that they wanted to lease. I said, look, what we have out here is called an exclusive agreement, which means you will be the agent of choice to rent the apartment or sell the apartment or home. That's an exclusive. Some management companies don't want to give an exclusive because it is so competitive. There are so many real estate agents. Why give it to one when I can have thousands of people show at the same time? So I would propose, won't we try like a 2-week exclusive? And if I can get it done, then you can try me again for the next one. So I found little strategies to help me stay competitive and stay present and current with the market, being that it's so many agents.
Interesting. So, it's almost like due to not having the mentorship you'd like to have had, you're kind of figuring things out as you kind of go along. So, you're using that tough background that you sort of overcame to figure out a way to make a way. So, what have you kind of learned? Like, if I was a person that was looking to get into real estate and kind of get started and see that as a way to make extra money, have you found that to be a good area for people that are that are hustlers, that are hardworking people, to make extra money?
Yeah, you should even think about starting part-time. In my book, I talk about 10 things to do before you're even licensed. And that includes, finding your sphere of influence, people that you're going to be in touch with, your family, your friends, people that you work with and you trust. If you do have that full-time job, you don't want to tell everybody you're starting a side gig, right? That you're going to tell, I'm in the business now. Who do you know that wants to either buy a home, sell a home, need a rental, or et cetera? That's something you can do. Another thing, find out what kind of branding and marketing you're going to do. Then you can also definitely talk to a financial planner. People do not save before they jump into this career. So being part-time is nice because you have that guarantee check coming in. And then while you're still finessing and figuring out this career, it could work. So try to save at least 6 months of expenses before you jump in. Find a mentor. If you don't have a mentor, get into a class or a school where there's a lot of people that are in the same predicament as you. We can bounce ideas off of each other. But as far as it being a great side hustle, yes, because that's how I started, right? I figured out if it was for me and then I jumped in.
Interesting. Okay, so I guess one of the other things that goes through my mind as I was thinking about just the market in general. What are you sort of seeing in terms of the market changes over during the time that you've been involved in real estate? I mean, how has it gotten better, easier to sell houses, or harder, or what?
It's a mix. So when I first started, I would literally have people in line to come see a condo for a 1 bedroom, 700 square feet, $800,000, offer in about 30 days or less, right? Well, contract sign and closing in 30 days or less. Now, interest rates have gone up a bit. Buyers have a lot of options. They're not really jumping on things like they used to, right? Prices have shifted a little where we're leveling out. Before, owners would, from when I started, 1 bedrooms were like 700, 750. Now they're all the way up to like 900, 950. Plus, I live in a place where Amazon just announced they're coming. So people are asking for more money, right?
Let me ask you, is that Brooklyn? Are they coming to Brooklyn? Where are they?
City, Queens. So they picked
really?
City and Crystal City in Virginia. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, please continue.
So I'm seeing a shift in the buyers who were before rushing and trying to get through the door to now taking their time a bit and making sure they choose the right place. And of course, interest rates have gone up a bit. So people are not so fast to buy. I'm seeing a lot of people trying to find investment property, investments and teaching investments. It's like huge right now. That's the thing. But not so much buying the high end ticket luxury
Mm,
stuff.
interesting, interesting. Yeah. I almost think that real estate, I mean, it's such a, I mean, at least historically, from an investor standpoint, there's never been a time I can think of where real estate was not a good investment, even when prices were high. And what I mean by that is, I'll hear people that'll say, "Oh, I shouldn't buy now. Prices are too high. I'll wait till the prices go down." And I kind of say, well, I mean, if you're looking for a place just to buy your first home, I sort of ask them, I say, well, can you point to any place that you can think of where, home prices are lower now than they were 20 years ago? Like if you're going to move in and just live there, like my parents have been in our house for over 20 years, and the house prices maybe tripled during that time. So it almost seems like with real estate, historically, it's just an important, such a good move. And one of the things we've told our students in the Black Business School is I said, for your New Year's resolution, spend 10 hours, just 10 hours. There's 8,760 hours in a year. Give 10 of those hours to just learning what it takes to buy your first home or invest in real estate or get involved with that, because that's one of the three key pathways to wealth. The three pillars of wealth, the three pathways that people become rich in America tend to be entrepreneurship, stock and bond investing, and real estate investing, all of which you could probably get started in less than a weekend if you have the right, guidance and the right situation. Did you have any sort of parting thoughts on that in terms of, why you think people should really think hard about looking into real estate, either as an owner, an investor, an agent, or something like that?
Absolutely. When when I think about being a real estate agent, it's not just about selling property, but it's about buying as well, right? Because as an agent, you have access to an MLS. You know when properties are coming up before the general population, right? So if there's an investment property that makes sense to you,
Mhm.
you're getting that knowledge before anyone else. You can build that generational wealth that you need. But I have a question for you. What do you think is maybe a top two things or three things, because this is a question I get a lot, for people to really save for their down payment? Being a
Um,
financial guru you are, that has been the toughest part, honestly.
so what do I think are the top two things for people to, uh,
Save enough money to be able to afford an investment property, to have a down payment
oh,
for an investment
so
property.
what are some of the best ways to save that first down payment?
Yeah.
Well, you have some people that go just straight up hardcore, like Andre C. Hatchett and my friend Estia Brown, who both happen to be New Yorkers, which is where the real estate market is way up here. I mean, some of y'all live in Atlanta and Alaska and North Dakota and stuff, and where the housing prices are nothing. You go to New York, it costs a grip to buy a house, right? And but here's the thing: Andre was making $15.15 an hour, but he was determined to be a homeowner. So for 2 years, he said, I'm just going to tighten my belt. I'm going to take that 10, 15% off the top of my check and let the chips fall where they may. I will find a way to make it with the other 80%, and that 20, 25%, whatever percentage he took, that's going to go toward my house, because I know that once I buy a house and become a homeowner, that's going to be key to me becoming a wealth builder, right? Homeowners are natural wealth builders if you're putting your money in your house, because you're not giving away to your landlord. Estia Brown, what she said was, she said that she got the money out of her hair. She said I promised myself that I would do my own hair until I saved enough money to put a down payment on my house, and then I would start going back to the salon. So I think for about a year and a half, 2 years, she just did her own hair, which I know it's a nightmare for some ladies out there. I don't have to worry about it, but she did it, and she became a homeowner. In fact, I'm not sure, but I think that they both own multiple properties now, right? And so I think that works. I think also finding a second stream of income can work. If you're like me, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't like saving. I am not a good saver. Saving is not fun for me. I don't like belt tightening. I like abundance. I don't like scarcity. That's not fun for me, right? So what I did was, when I was at Syracuse and I wanted to save more money, and I was already making a lot of money, over $100,000 a year, at 31, 32 years old. So that's pretty good, right? But but the thing was, I was like, I want to save more, but I don't really want to cut my expenses too much. So I started finding ways to make extra money. And what I found was that when you master that art of just making an extra grand, maybe an extra $1,000 here, $500 there, you'll find that makes a huge difference in terms of giving you breathing room in your budget. Everybody thinks that in order to save, you got to cut. You ain't got to cut nothing. Sometimes you just got to expand, right? Seriously, like a bigger pie allows you to keep your slice the same size, and you still got even more left over now because the pie is bigger. So I think that there's many ways to skin that cat. So I think earning the extra income can work, or belt tightening can work. I think partnering with other people can maybe work. Like I've talked to people about, getting together with a couple of other people with your tax refunds and pulling your money together and finding about maybe the FHA programs and things like that, and maybe buying something together, where you can all sort of live in the same space. In fact, a lot of people are doing that now, especially given that the economy is changing, the retirement system's, going to be pretty bad in about 20 or 30 years. And the job market's changing. Just economic dynamics in America are shifting. The middle class is kind of being cut out. So what you're finding is that there are a lot of people that are looking at living styles from around the world to change how we live in the U.S. For example, a lot of us think, okay, if I become an adult, I get together with my wife or my husband and whatever, and we live with our kids in this house by ourselves, and that's it. Well, a lot of people, there are people now who are saying, why does it just have to be us? Why can't it be all of us and grandma and Aunt Lucy? Well, why can't cousin Joe, come to, why can't we live here with another couple, right? Because then you're chopping that mortgage up, amongst 4 or 5 people, and it becomes very easy to pay as opposed to you having to pay it all by yourself. So there are little tricks out there. So those are my thoughts. I hope I didn't give you too much or too little. I hope that makes sense.
That was perfect. That was perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So I guess you were the one asking the good question. So you got me excited about that. I started thinking, I was like, oh yeah, you can do this, you can do that, you can do that. And so anyway, I'll tell you what, I was super excited. I want everybody to know I was super excited to talk to Laquana because we've seen each other one time in a decade. And but social media is so funny. Social media makes you think that you're seeing people more than you're actually seeing them. So I actually like that. I think that's good because it lets you keep up with certain people that you may not necessarily want to call on the phone or hang out with. Not you. You're not in that category. But
wait, come on.
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You know that cousin that cousin where you're like, I really don't want to kick it with you, but I do want to know, like, if you have a baby, I want to know if you move. You know what I mean? So social media, I think, is great for that. And the cool thing was, like, at that time, social media and YouTube and all that was kind of just really taking off. Remember when I had all those YouTube channels? Do you remember that?
Yes. You probably record 3 to 5 videos an hour. No, like you were just doing the most. I'm like, how does this guy come up with so much content? Yeah. I remember those days. And
I still do it. I still do that. And the biggest mistake I made at that time was that year, like 2007, 2008, I think we set up like maybe 10 YouTube channels. And the biggest mistake I made was around 2009 or whatever. I just like threw them away and didn't pay attention to them. And they all ended up somehow getting deleted off YouTube. And I did not go back to YouTube till 2013. If I had started and stayed with those YouTube channels back then, some of them would have over 1 million subscribers. I already know it. We did okay since 2013. I think Your Black World has like 320,000 or something like that. But literally would have been over 1 million if I had started when we actually started and stuck with it. So maybe that's a lesson, right? For everybody listening, like, start stuff and finish it. Stay with it. Be consistent. Like, don't jump around, because I think the biggest pathway to being unable to build your empire is when you're taking long vacations away from the empire and the empire crumbles while you're gone. So keep building brick by brick, step by step. Don't be scared. You can do this. So Laquana, let me ask you this. So your book, The Real Estate Blueprint, you can find it at, is it recharmschool.com? Is that where the book is?
Recharmschool.com. You can find an ebook version there. You can download it instantly. Yes. Okay.
For free?
$9.99.
All right. So don't be cheap. Don't be acting broke. You're investing in your own future. So don't act broke when it comes to investing in your future. Go to recharmschool.com. You can download the Real Estate Blueprint for $9.99. Also, you can follow Laquana on Instagram at Miss McNeil, MSMC McNeil. So Miss McNeil, find her on Instagram. And I want to say thank you for hanging out and dropping game on us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor. I can't wait to be back.
Yes, it is definitely going to happen. And so everybody give her a digital round of applause. Tell her she did a great job. This is her first time on this platform. And I let her know that it's all love, that everybody in here is Black and intelligent and looking to build the future. And that's the kind of people we roll with. And so everybody in here also, if you haven't subscribed at theblackfinancialchannel.com, go subscribe, theblackfinancialchannel.com. It's black and financial, which means that it's good and it's powerful and it's going to be the best thing you've ever seen. So go check it out. And last but not least, if you wanted to actually go check out some of our financial workbooks for children, you can go to financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com. Took us 2 years to put them together. We did it just for Black kids. We did it for your kids. So I hope you enjoy it, and feel free to go check it out. All right. So thank you very much, Laquana. And actually, I'll stay on the line because you and I can just sort of plan and schedule something for next time. And I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. So hit that like and subscribe button before you go. I'll see you guys soon. Be good. Peace. Okay. Give me one